It was nothing.
Hey there, quirky peeps! Today we're going to look at some crazy technologies that exist in the MCU, but aren't used a whole lot. Marvel introduces all sorts of crazy sci-fi elements and unimaginable technologies every now and then, but it is safe to say that they still manage to make their films feel so relatable. With the involvement of Stark Industries' Iron Man, we saw so many amazing devices besides the Iron Man suits. Then came Rocket and the Guardians, who had their own amazing space tech. Ant-Man introduced us to Pym Particles, which allowed shrinkage or enlarging people and objects. And then came the quantum tunnel, which actually made time travel possible in the MCU. All these technologies will return in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Black Panther introduced nanotechnology, then Tony Stark continued to make it better. It will surely be brought back with Black Panther 2 and possibly even Ironheart. Then there's Barf, which was introduced in Civil War, but Quentin Beck took it to a whole new level. I'm pretty sure that it will return when Mysterio returns to form the Sinister Six. Besides the great devices and technologies that I've mentioned, there are some other pieces of tech that definitely exist, but are not used a lot in the MCU. And I believe that these devices and weapons should be brought back in the future, just like Far From Home brought Barf back into the mix. Now, before I get to my list, it'd be amazing if you guys would hit the subscribe button and all other similar buttons, except the dislike one, of course. Okay, so first up we have flying cars.
Flying car? Ow! Ugh, flying! I don't even know it!
Howard Stark promised flying cars during the times of World War II. He was able to build one that levitated for a while back in the 40s. But we've never seen a state-of-the-art flying car in the MCU. It is no secret that flying cars exist in this universe. We've seen Lola from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fly a few times. But Kevin Feige doesn't really count that series as MCU canon. So we shouldn't count Lola either. But still, the MCU hasn't really shown us a flying car yet. Nick Fury ordered to initiate the flight system in his car, but it was damaged by all the Hydra policemen, so we couldn't get to see Fury's car fly. There were flying troop carriers in Wakanda. It's crazy that this kind of technology is available, and yet it is so unused. Marvel saves their CGI budget and tries to keep things relatable and grounded by not showing a flying car regularly. Tony Stark's self-flying chopper ejected an Iron Man suit, but not having one of his Audis turn into an Iron Man suit was certainly a missed opportunity. Anyway, we hope to see a working flying automobile in the coming future. Immortal Machine.
What is this? Hold on a second. Can I get a little space?
Yeah.
Just gotta get
Bring
over
it back?
I'm working on it.
While trying to nail time travel, Hulk actually created an immortality machine. Upon the first trial of time travel, Scott was sent back in time. But instead of pushing him through time, Smart Hulk pushed time through him. He came back as a baby, then a young boy, and an old man before coming back as his former self. People could actually stay immortal by using this tech. Old Man Cap could be young again. I'd say that this is how Steve Rogers could return. But Tony also mentioned that pushing time through someone could be dangerous, so it's unlikely that the MCU will reuse it. Not only is it dangerous, but it would remove the stakes from stories. Still, why not use it if it's available? Paralyzing tech.
Come on, Tofa said yeah. Technology.
Obadiah Stane's sonic taser paralyzed opponents by emitting a particular sound frequency. It's crazy that the MCU hasn't used it at all after the first movie. Just imagine if countries were to use this during wars, or the Avengers used it in their battles. The bloodshed would be very limited. A lot of human lives could be saved. Tony could have paralyzed more than half of Team Cap with it during Civil War. He could have saved Rhodey from his injury. And he could have easily won against Ivan Vanko and Aldrich Killian if this tech was brought back into play. Maybe this paralyzing device is what falls into the wrong hands in the upcoming Armor Wars. Let's wait and see. Photostatic Veil. The MCU doesn't really bring back all of their advanced devices unless they are as important as Barf. But I'm really happy that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier brought something back from Captain America too. In the Winter Soldier, Black Widow wore the advanced photostatic veil in order to pose as Council Member Holly. She spent half the time trying to hide from Hydra. This tech would have done the job for both Steve, Natasha, and anyone else who needed it. People have criticized Marvel for not using it a whole lot. It can come in really handy for infiltration purposes. It would have helped the Avengers so much if it was used during the time heist, but Marvel only used it for a small bit, like the Mission Impossible franchise does. Now I'm glad that when Sam called Sharon for backup recently, she used this cloaking device to pose as a man and enter the States. Hopefully the MCU won't stop using it. Goo Gun.
We still haven't worked out all the bugs.
No one really talks about this forgotten weapon, and I don't understand why. Darren Cross wanted to sell his yellow jacket suits to create an army of shrinking yellow jackets. But do you remember when his unfinished Pym Particles turned a goat into goo? He also shot someone with his Goo Gun and turned him into slime. Then he flushed that person down the toilet, leaving no trace of him. Do you see how insanely powerful this weapon is? Maybe instead of creating an army of yellow jackets, Cross should have put these Goo Guns into mass production. They could instantly turn an entire army into slime. Or I have an even better idea. If this Goo Gun was available, then the Avengers could have turned Thanos and his entire army into slime. Just like the Immortal Machine, this slime gun removes the stakes from the film. So I guess it might not return to the MCU. But with Darren Cross being rumored for his comeback in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, you never know. Mercury Vapor Bomb.
Well, that's one down.
How'd you manage that?
Another crazy weapon was recently introduced in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sharon Carter used a Mercury Vapor Bomb on Lennox the Flag Smasher. With her espionage skills, she placed the bomb on Lennox. Then, as it detonated, this bomb released a poison that was so toxic that it burned his entire body in an instant. Again, a weapon like the Mercury bomb could be brought back in the future because of its lethal potential. Remote transmission devices.
Which side of the road is it?
For boss sake, just drive.
Okay, calm down.
Wakanda showed us some amazing pieces of technology, like the Kimoyo beads, the EMP discs, and many other things. But my favorite Wakandan tech was the remote transmission device. Shuri used it to drive a Lexus in Busan while she was sitting in Wakanda. Then, Agent Ross also flew a Wakandan aircraft using the same remote transmission device. I don't know if this tech will be brought back in use during Black Panther 2, but it is too good to be left behind. I'm all in for Wakanda's crazy new inventions, but this remote transmission device is something I definitely want to see more of. Mini bombs and bubble shield. Rocket has come up with some astonishing weapons and devices. He created the Hadron Enforcer to blow up moons. The Guardians used aero rigs and spacesuits that were designed by him. Then there are his amazing weapons. The little rabbit is fond of using all sorts of blasters. But in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we also saw his sleeping darts, freefall anti-gravity devices, and electrocuting chips. Although my favorite weapon of his was the combo of mini bombs and bubble shield. He planted a bunch of mini bombs on Ego's tentacles during the final battle. These bombs also formed a bubble shield around him before exploding. The whole sequences look stunning, and I certainly want to see this weapon return in the future. Nanobot Welder.
Because I'm wise?
Why do you have so much luggage?
I don't want Groot playing with my things.
While Peter Quill, Gamora, and Drax took a trip with Ego, Rocket was left back to fix the Milano. Did you see what Rocket was using to fix his ship while the other Guardians left? Apparently, Rocket's device was shooting nanobots to fix, or rather restore, the broken parts of the ship. Nanotech already exists in the MCU, and Rocket has spent enough time on Earth by now. So he may have left some of his tech with the geniuses of Earth, and this Nanobot Welder could be one of his gifts to Earth. It could be used for many things, so I think that it should return. Honorable mention, Taskmaster Suit.
He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated. Fully conscious, but no choices.
I know that Black Widow hasn't arrived. That's why I've put Taskmaster Suit under the category of honorable mention. I'm pretty sure that MCU's Taskmaster won't have a natural ability of photographic reflexes. It's next to impossible for a regular human to copy all of his opponent's move with just one glance. So the MCU will probably grant this ability to Taskmaster through his special suit. We've seen him analyzing Natasha's moves from Iron Man 2. He has also copied the likes of Black Panther, Captain America, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, and a few others in the trailers. So I believe that he gets his mimicking ability through his suit. If you look at his visor, you'll see that there's a camera that constantly records everything. So this suit must enable the wearer to mimic these recorded moves. When Tony was fighting Steve back in Civil War, he asked Friday to analyze Steve's fight pattern. Then he deployed countermeasures to gain the upper hand. Taskmaster Suit could be using a similar kind of technology. And I think that it should definitely be used a whole lot after the Black Widow movie. Okay, that's all for now. Would you guys like to see these existing technologies and weapons in the future? Let us know in the comments. And I'd request you to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. That's all for now. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!